In this video, I'm going to share a quick tip learned from Steve Albini on my podcast for how to record and mix a kick drum for maximum impact and minimum phase problems without having to resort to EQ to create an awesome sounding kick. My name is Lidge Shaw, and welcome to Recording Studio Rockstars. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to record, edit, mix, and master your best sounding record ever, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any videos from us here. So I did one of my most popular interviews yet with Steve Albini. Steve is known for making all kinds of incredible sounding records up at Electrical Audio, his studio in Chicago. He works solely on analog tape, and his techniques are awesome. So he knows how to make great sounding rock records, and he is an expert at miking things up properly and using some simple strategic mixing techniques to make sure that you get great sounds. So in my interview with him, one of the tips that he shared with us was how to get a great sounding kick drum. So stand by. In this video, we're going to share a little clip from Steve on how to record and mix a killer sounding kick drum so that you don't have any phase problems, but you get maximum beater and impact. Any thoughts about stuff that is usually helpful when you're mixing a kick drum?
Yeah, a couple of things. The attack component for a bass drum can be difficult to evaluate when you're doing a sound check because you're just listening to the drum kit by itself. And then when the band plays over it, you often lose specifically the barking attack of the bass drum. I often use a separate microphone dangling by the bass drum beater to use as an attack element of the bass drum sound. And if that microphone has been recorded separately, which is what I would do on a 24-track session, for example, then I've found that rebalancing that against the conventional bass drum microphone can give a little bit of definition, a little bit of edge to the bass drum without having to carve the sound up with EQ. I found EQ to be particularly destructive on a bass drum because the bass drum microphones tend to be very specific. That is, they tend to be designed for high sound pressure and designed for ruggedness and designed for low frequency response, which means that the off-axis sound, that is the bleed from the rest of the drum kit getting into that microphone, is typically going to be pretty terrible sounding. Mm-hmm. So if you're exaggerating the attack element of the bass drum, that is brightening that microphone up, then you're going to be exaggerating what is the ugliest depiction of the rest of the drum kit. So I found that bass drum microphones in particular don't suffer being equalized that well. So if I prefer to deal with those to deal with those problems by using an auxiliary microphone that has more of an attack component. If the session has already been recorded and you have a single bass drum signal and you need to exaggerate the attack, then you don't really have much by way of options other than, dialing in an equalizer. There is one option which you can consider, and that is to make a parallel channel that is heavily gated using a gate that creates a glitching artifact, like a Drawmer, for example. The Drawmer DS201 is a sort of a studio standard drum gate, but it does create a slight spike on its opening. Mm-hmm. And if you have a separate channel of this gated signal with that spike on it, then you can feather a small amount of that spike in to slightly exaggerate the attack of the bass drum without screwing up the sound of the bass drum too much.
Nice. I like the the sound of a gate opening and popping sometimes if it sits in the track just right.
Yeah, that's what I'm advising is rather than gating the bass drum and having that sound there whether you like it or not, you can have it on a separate channel and just fade it in until you feel like the attack element is helping.
Cool. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed that excerpt from my interview with Steve Albini. If you want to catch the full podcast interview, please click the link below in the video description and subscribe to our channel so you get all of our podcast interviews here. And if you enjoyed that and you're trying to take your mixes to the next level, take advantage of my free mixing course at mixmasterbundle.com. That link is also in the video description right here, where I teach you how to get a pro-sounding radio-ready mix using nothing but free plugins mixing in the box. That link is right below in this video description. Thanks so much for watching, and go make great music. Cheers.